Welcome to the Iron Orchid Designs Facebook page. My name is Shannon and I'm with Pickin' Boots down in Fort Myers, Florida. And we're here today because we're going to have some fun with the new Brocante Transfer and the vintage texture stamps. Thank you. So we are going to be creating a few different items, and if you stay to the end, you're going to see a little surprise. We're going to add a little bit something to the end. First off, let me just show you really quick what we're going to be talking about. Here we go. So see this little darling clay pot? This is with one of the bees from the Brocante Transfer, and then the vintage texture stamp. All right, let's go back out. So this is the stamp. The new vintage texture stamp comes with 4. Previously, they were all individual, but with the new one, it has made them smaller. So now you can get a little bit of every single of the distressed line of the stamps. These are perfect for smaller projects because sometimes I know I have this one and I've had to cut it down to size. Welcome, Arlinda. I hope I said that right. From Florida too. Yay! Okay, so these are a lot of fun. On the back here, you can see the chippy paint one is great for if you want to have some chippy paint on a cabinet. There's the craquelure and the other ones. If you want, like this one's really good for lockers, for metal, because you know, metal and wood distress a lot differently than wood. So metal would distress a lot differently. So you want to use the correct stamp for the, oh, hi from England. Hi, Joanne. So we're going to be working with these 4 today. And what I did with mine was I left them on and I just cut them apart into 4 parts. That way I have them accessible. And this is the only one that comes, the chippy paint one comes, you can pull them off and use as you need. So without any further ado, I know you all have seen the new transfer book. How awesome is this? The birds, the bees, and just all the different, like the Eiffel Tower, the butterflies. There's just so much to choose from. There's 8 pages of fun. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thanks, Arlinda. Okay, so this is the one that I created just for the first, just to try it out because I just love it. It's super easy and it is super fun because all I did was I took one of the little transfers, rubbed it on, then I used the vintage texture stamp, and look at how cute this came out. North Dakota, awesome, welcome. So I have 2 different clay pot sizes. I have this big one, and then I have this size. So I just picked these up from Home Depot. This one was $2.98. This one was $4.98. Totally worth it because I'm going to make a little clay pot display. I have this cute vintage wire plant stand, so I'm going to fill it up. All right, so let's briefly go through some of the new stamps here, the transfers. So let's do this. Let's go here. So there's one page. Look how beautiful these birds are. And then we have some more birds, some bees, chickens. We have flowers, more butterflies. Look at these. Aren't these awesome? These would look great on the pots. And the Eiffel Tower. You'd need a really tall pot for that one. The sheep. Another bee, some more butterflies, some flowers. Oh, look at those 2 butterflies. And there's the bee. That's the one that I used on my first clay pot. And then we have, of course, the big clock. So what we're going to do is we are going to choose what we're going to do. So we're going to start with just a little pot first. And we're going to flip through the book. And I kind of already know what I want to do. I like, where did I just see those 2? There were 2 bees. I just love these bees. Look at these. See these 2 different bumblebees? It's kind of a glare because of the paper, the plastic. So what I'm going to do, these booklets are so awesome. You can flip through and just cut out whatever pieces you want to use. So I'm going to use this bee and this bee. So I'm going to cut them out real quick. How many of you already have this awesome Brocante Transfer book and have used it? Anybody? There's just so much you can do with this. I'm going to turn it this way. If you strategically cut these, oops, there goes my water. It will keep, if I cut just the two B's off the sides like this, it'll keep the rest of my book and my page intact, so I don't have to worry about cutting that yet. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I just use 2 extra stamps just like this, and I hold my pot in place because you don't want it to roll around, but the stamps are great because the stamps have a little bit of sticky on it, and they're just going to stay right there. So now I'm going to take my 2 B's, and I'm going to decide how I'm going to put them. Do I want to put them like this? The little one and the big one. I think I'm going to go with the big one first and then put the little one over here. So each of the transfers come with a little tool like this, and I'm going to just place it on. These are so detailed, I can see the little fur or the little hair on his legs of the bee. So then you're just going to give it a nice rub with your transfer tool. I will try to respond to the comments. If I don't get to them live, I will absolutely get them after. So as you're rubbing, you'll notice it becomes a little bit gray, and that just means it's releasing and it's sticking to the pot. All right, so there's one. Look how cute. These are so adorable. I'm picking up mine on Saturday morning. Awesome, Carla. You're going to love it. If you are interested in these, in my description, there is a link to all of the retailers. Some are online, some are just brick and mortar, but you can find the one that is closest to you and get these. These are so simple to make, and they're so cute. Have you ever had to run somewhere and you had to bring a hostess gift? How cute would these be to put like a little plant in and hand them a little clay pot? Or you can fill it with anything. It doesn't have to be a plant. There we go. Look. So there are my 2 bees. Now, how adorable is this? No, I did not varnish first. When you seal these clay pots, if it's going to be outside, you can seal it. There are a few of them that are specific for outdoors. Mine will be, these certain ones will be inside, so I will not need to seal these. All right, so now let's let the fun begin. We're going to do a couple of the different stamps. We're going to, of course, start with this one, the crackler, because that's the one that I used here, so I want to show you how I put on the ink. This is how I like to do it. Some people will use an ink pad. I like to use the brayer, and it's all preference. So I have a piece of glass. I like to use a piece of glass because it's very sturdy when I go to roll my ink. And then I'm, of course, going to use my brayer. These are awesome. And I just simply roll. Make sure I get it on my brayer, both sides, all around. And I'm going to take my Vintage Texture, the crackle one, and I'm going to just put it on lightly. I don't want to put on too much because if I put on too much, you can smear. So I'm just going to roll it. I don't know if I have enough. Okay, there we go. And I'm okay with it not transferring 100% because look at this. See this one right here? It's missing in a few places, but that's what gives it character. That's what gives it detail, and that's what will make it different from each of the pots. So while this is still wet, I'm just going to simply flip it over, and I'm going to lightly press it on. I'm just going to you have to kind of form it around the edges of the pot so it gets around. And release. Ta-da! There we go. So, see that? How cute. Eventually, you're going to want to go around all the sides. I'm not going to do that now because this is wet, and if I start to roll it, it'll smear. Actually, I can do one more side. So I'll just put it where I'm not going to get the ink on the ground. That's why these little pieces of stamp that hold the pot in place are perfect. I'll do one more real quick here. A little bit more ink. And then we're going to just start on the line where we left off. And it's okay if it overlaps. And I'm going to roll it to the back. Lightly press. And release. Voila. So see, how cute is that? And if you get an area where it's maybe too heavy or you want to take some off, just you can sand it. But there we have it. There's another one. So I'm going to stick this over here. Now this next one that we're going to do, I'm going to use a different stamp. I'm not going to use this one. Thank you. I love the, the bees are super cute. All right, let's move on to, let's do this big one, huh? So I'm thinking the big one, what do you think? Should we put the birds on there? How cute would that be? Birds. I did purchase the pots. They came from Home Depot. This one was $4.98. The little ones were $2.98. Very affordable. You could probably pick some up at a garage sale too. So I'm going to stick this over here and let's go and let's find those birds. There's two different birds, so I have to decide which ones we should use. This one, they're kind of looking all around, or this one where they're all looking up. Let's see. Gosh. Let's just do this one because they're looking all different directions and I like that. It's fun. So we're going to simply cut this one out. This might get a little tricky because we're going to be wrapping it around the pot where it's round. So we're just going to have some fun with this one and see how it turns out. Okay, so I've got my two stamps here and they're going to hold my pot in place. And let's see, where did I put my transfer tool? Here it is, my little transfer tool. Peel this off and here we go. Oh my gosh, look how cute. Okay, so I just applied my transfer. I just put it on, but I'm going to give it a gentle rub just so it kind of sticks before I start rubbing. What do you think? You think that is good? Now, it looks like it's crooked because I didn't cut, it's just my line, I didn't cut it straight. So let's begin to rub. I'm going to start on this side. This one's going to take me a little bit longer to rub, but I will do my best to. Now, you can see, I don't know if you can see or not, but you can see it's starting to release. It gets a little bit more translucent, and that means it's releasing to the pot. So when I pick it up, it will be on the pot. Let's take a peek. Another way you can do it is if you start to lift the side as you're rubbing, it'll release, seems to release a little early or easier. If you pick up, let me show you and see, there's kind of a glare, but there's this part right here is stuck to the paper. All you have to do is simply push it back down and give it a rub and voila, that part's gone. There is one more little piece here. I'm gonna rub that on. Sometimes I use the side because I can apply a little bit more pressure than this way. They used to come as a wood stick and I used to break them all the time. I was so happy when they changed them to the plastic. I've also used spoons. All right. I am so excited about this one. Now I just need to decide which vintage texture stamp part I'm going to use. Like I said earlier, these will make a great gift for somebody who loves to garden or has lots of plants. You can fill it. Doesn't have to be with the plant. You can fill it with anything. on the little ones, they make great pen holders, little tool holders. And if you wanted to put a word on it, you could stamp it with the stamps, or you could use the other transfer that has the exploration transfer that has the letters on it, and you can make a word. You can put their last name on it. That'd be super cute. Okay, so these birds are almost done. I just want to make sure I get a good adhesion. Now, if you're going to keep them inside and you're worried about the transfers coming off, you can definitely use some clear coat and seal them. If it's going to go outside, I would definitely use an outside sealer because the elements are different. Okay, let's see. Did I get all the parts of the bird? Oops, his little tail. Can't forget his tail. If you do happen to pick it up and you've missed a part of the bird, when you're using your stamps, you can make sure you cover it up so you kind of conceal. This one part of the tail just does not want to come off. Oh, there we go. Can you paint this before? Absolutely. You can paint your pots. Use it whatever kind of, paint you want. I would suggest maybe a chalk paint just because it has good adhesion. Any brand is good. And, oops. And then make sure your chalk paint or your paint is completely dry before you put them on, because you want to make sure that the transfer sticks. Sometimes if the paint is still wet, it'll pull off the paint, and you don't want that. All right, so here we have the birds. Look how cute these are. I still have the Home Depot sticker on here. Let me pull that off. All right, so what do you think of the birds? No, I didn't. I just left the birds right onto the clay pot. You can paint them first if you want to. You don't have to. They stick and they stand very, very nicely. So here we go. Now, what stamp do we want to use? Do we want to use the chippy paint one, or let's use this one. I like this one. All right, so this stamp here, thank you, Faye and Debbie, appreciate that. I've used this one on a dresser. Look at this. Let me see if I can get that solo. So see how cute that is? It makes it look like it's kind of, I don't know, old and cracking. That is the stamp that we're going to use right now. So I'm using my brayer for the ink, and I'm using the ink by Iron Orchid Designs. I'm using Stone. I didn't want to use black because I didn't want it to be too stark. All right, so here it goes. Got my pot. I want to make sure that it's not going to move. I got my stamps here holding in place. And let's go ahead and I'm going to turn it this way. And let's very lightly, I'm going to push. Ooh, look at that. So it gives it a nice crack look. What do you think? Okay, so this is a bigger one, so I can go ahead and do it on the sides too. Again, I'm pushing very light because I don't want to smear it. And it's okay if I miss one or two of the lines, but look, oh my gosh, how adorable. What do you think? Okay, so now I'm gonna go back and just do this side of the birds. I'm gonna get the back when the front dries. But for now, I just wanna be able to show you the birds with this little cute stamp on it. And I'm placing one up and one down, so it's kind of sporadic rather than all in line. You don't want it to look all the exact same. Give it a nice it up. Ta-da! Look, it's a little shiny right now because ink is still wet, but you guys get the picture. And of course, I'm going to be putting pictures, posting pictures so you can see the final. Now, I've inked this up just a little bit in case I want to add a couple lines here because this pot is a little bit bigger than my stamp. So I'm just going to go back and I'm going to just do a couple along the edge. And just random places on this from the stamp. And I'm going to do a little bit right here. There we go. Put that over there. What do you think? So far we have the original bee that I did for demo, and then we just did 2 other bees with a crackler, and now we just did the birds. Aren't those adorable? Okay, so we're gonna do one more. This time we're gonna do the butterflies. I like to leave these in the picture, so let's put those up here. We're gonna do one more real quick. Yes, the crackle certainly does add a little charm. It adds a little bit of just some character to the pots. So what we're going to do real quick is I love the butterfly, and I want to get the butterfly that, I'm going to use this one here. He kind of looks like he's flying. So I'm going to grab that one, and I might grab this one too. So let me just cut that out real quick. Scissors. These books make it really easy to cut out. And it's a great way to store them, especially if you strategically cut them where they're still part of the booklet, which I try to always do. So we have that. Now, after I do the butterfly, I want to show you something that I made that is neat. And some of you will ask if you can do this. So I'm going to show you that yes, you can. And I'll explain what that is right after we get done with the bumblebee. So here's the pot. And let's see. I'm definitely going to put this one on, the flying one. I'm not sure if I'm going to put the other one on or not, but I like this guy because he's flying. Or it looks like it. To me, it looks like he's flying. And I do like the way that they are in the same color scheme. Basically, like warm, like of the clay pots. That's why I didn't paint them. Absolutely, you can paint them. All preference. Oh, and for those of you that have a bunch of the IOD stamps and you're wondering how to keep them, I keep them in the plastic scrapbook square cases, you know, the kind that you store scrapbook paper in. They work perfectly because if a stamp comes off of the backing, it doesn't fall out. And I have one for letters, I have one for textures, I have probably about 10 different ones full of stamps. All right, give one more. It's very satisfying when you see it just release. There we go. Now look, see how sweet that is, the little butterfly. You know what, let's go ahead and put this butterfly on. We've got plenty of time. We're gonna put him right, let's put him right here. These go on super easy, they don't take that long. And this one is just releasing so fast, I can see the translucent, look at, oops, this tentacle. Antenna, not tentacle. He's not a squid. Oh wow, so see how fast that was? Look. All right, so let's stamp. So we've already used these two. Now we need to decide between, where'd it go? Over here? Oops, no, we use those two. Do we want to use the chippy paint or do we want to use this one here? Let's see. Can't see what you're doing with subtitle. I don't have any subtitles. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to do the chippy paint one. I'm going to do, just so you can see, actually, you know what? I think that's going to cover too much of my pot. As I'm turning it around on the back side of the stamp, it shows you what it's going to look like. So you can always put it on here. And I just think that's going to be too heavy. What do you think? Even if I only do one or two, I still think it's going to be too heavy. So I'm going to go back to the crackle one because that is my favorite for these pots. So I'm just going to take my brayer. I'm going to ink it up again. I'm just going to do it lightly. But this time, maybe I'll only focus some cracks on the top and the bottom. Let's see what that looks like. Remember, you can be as creative as you want with these. It's whatever you want to do. It's your project. So there's some cracks on the bottom. Now let's put some cracks on the top. And I think we need a little bit in here, so I'm going to do just the corner I'm going to push on here. Wow, love. I'm going to do a few more light presses. I'm not using the whole stamp, just some sections of it that has ink on it. Because I don't want it to be as heavy as the last one. Wow. And I'm going to give the butterfly just a tad. So cute. So I will take pictures, and if you want to follow me on Pick and Boots Vintage, every picture will be up, but I know we'll put some on the IOD page too. So look, what do you think? So I went heavier on the top and the bottom, and then I went just lightly over the butterflies. Yay! Oh, captions, does that mean that my automatic captions are on? I didn't turn them on. They must come on automatically. Sorry about that. I don't know how to turn them off during the live. So I told you that we were going to do a special. I wanted to show you something. Let me show you what I did. So you guys have seen the traditional pots. Well, the transfer, here is what it looks like on amber. You know, they come in blue, black, and gray. I mean white, not gray. So here, look at how cute they come out on this amber bottle. See how cute that is? The white shows up beautiful on the amber. But I wanted to just see what would happen if I used the vintage texture stamp on here. And look, this is a different one. I used the white ink, the white IOD ink, and look at that, how it just adds just a little bit more to this bottle. I just absolutely love that. Look at that. So you can actually use that crackle stamp with whatever color ink you want. And this just happens to use the white with the white transfer from the transitional pots. Transfer. Okay, well, again, my name is Shannon and I'm with Pick and Boots Vintage, and I am so happy that you joined Iron Orchids today and that I'm honored that I was able to be on their page. I'll be again in 2 weeks, 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you know anybody that is an avid planter or just loves bees, share this post with them, or perhaps make them. How cute would these be as little Christmas presents? You could stack it full of candy or whatever you wanted to. And thanks for joining me, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Take care.